Ji became a vegetable in order to save the school bell, but I still fulfilled the engagement and married him, taking care of him diligently. 3 years later, he woke up and wrote everything into a novel, which became a hit on the internet. Later, Ji publicly confessed his love for the school belle who became a movie queen at a book signing event. He questioned me why I tied him up with marriage, which prevented him and the school belle from being together. I was accused of being a mistress by the whole internet and was cyberbullied to death. When I opened my eyes again, I went back to the day when you had a car accident. I found the school bell with my stepmother who came to ask for the fulfillment of the engagement. This is your daughter-in-law, your son's eternal lover. Aunt Xiao Ing's pleading voice rang in my ears, and I suddenly opened my eyes. What caught my eye was the white ceiling and Mrs. Ji, who looked at me anxiously. This was in the hospital. My mother stood in front of me and said, if Xiao Ing doesn't marry our Wen family, will cancel the engagement. When Mrs. Ji heard the word, cancel the engagement, she became more aggressive. The Wen family has received a lot of favors from the Ji family over the years. Now that AU has just gotten into trouble, you are breaking off the engagement. Have your consciences been eaten by dogs? My mother agreed without thinking. I have no conscience. Jiyu is now a vegetable. As a mother, I will never marry my daughter into a fire pit. You can kill me, and I will not agree to this marriage. The sharp quarrel between the two made my head ache, but it also quickly made me understand the current situation. I was reborn, back to 10 years ago, back to the beginning of all the pain, back to the time before I married Jiyu. The Ji family and the Wen family had a childhood engagement since childhood. They originally planned to get married when Jiyu and I graduated. Unexpectedly, before graduation, Jiyu accidentally had a car accident and became a vegetable. Mrs. Ji quickly came to my house and wanted to advance the engagement and asked me to marry Jiyu for good luck. In my previous life, my mother firmly disagreed and had an argument with Mrs. Ji in the ward. Later, Mrs. Ji came to my father and said that if I didn't marry, she would terminate all cooperation with the Wen family. The two families have cooperated closely over the years. If all cooperation is terminated, the Wen family will definitely suffer. The Ji family is determined to fight to the death. In addition, the Ji family has supported my father a lot in the early days of the Wen family's entrepreneurship. My father felt that the Ji family had been kind to us and we should not add insult to injury, so he persuaded me and my mother. After I got married, I took care of Ji diligently and made plans to remain a widow for the rest of my life. But 3 years later, Ji woke up. When he woke up, his memory was confused and he couldn't adapt to being married for a while, so I moved out for a while. Later, he finished his rehabilitation and took me back to the Ji family. I always thought that God was kind to me, so Ji woke up, but I didn't expect that his awakening was the beginning of all nightmares. Ji was not unable to adapt to married life, but felt sad and painful for not marrying the woman he loved. It turned out that his car accident was not an accident, but to save the school beauty Shen Ruyu. Although Ji and I were engaged, we did not go to the same university, so I did not know that Ji had a beautiful love story with Shen Ruyu in school. That day, Mrs. Ji received a call saying that Ji was sick. Mrs. Ji could not leave because she had to discuss business, so she asked me to deliver medicine to Ji. Girls were not allowed to go upstairs in the male dormitory of Tingshu University, so I asked a classmate to deliver the medicine for me. The boy asked me what my relationship with Ji was. I did not think much and directly said that I was Jiyu's Yankee. Unexpectedly, Shen Ruyu also came to deliver medicine to Jiyu. After hearing what I said, she knew that Jiyu was engaged. She felt that she was fooled and sadly blocked Jiyu and went to the bar to get drunk. Jiyu, who took the medicine and woke up from a sleep, had no idea what happened. After he learned it from others that Shen Huiyu was in the bar, he dragged his sick body to the bar to find someone. Jiyu dragged her out of the bar and asked her why she blocked him. Shen Huiyu didn't want to listen to Jiyu's explanation. She shook off Jiyu's hand and prepared to stop a car to leave. While the two were pulling, a car drove straight towards them. At the critical moment, Jiyu pushed Shen Huiyu away, but he couldn't escape. Just like that, Jiyu became a vegetable. There was no surveillance at the side door of the bar, and no one knew that Ji had a car accident to save Shen Ruyu. Later, the movie was selected in Tingshu University. The director took a fancy to Shen Ruyu at first sight and promoted her as a newcomer to play the second female role. After the movie was released, her stills weren't aimed as a god picture, and she reached the peak when she entered the circle. When Ji woke up, he saw Shen Ruyu, who became a movie queen and married a rich man. Ji was unwilling to accept it. He adapted everything that happened into a novel. When fans learned that the novel was written by a male author and adapted from real events, the novel instantly became popular on the entire internet. Later, Ji publicly confessed his love for Shen Ruyu at a book signing event. He questioned me why I tied him down with marriage, which prevented them from being together. He ignored all my efforts over the years and blamed everything on me. I was cyberbullied by his fans, blackened by the entire network, and even my address was dug out. When I went out, I was surrounded by black fans and thrown rotten eggs. In order to avoid them, I accidentally got into a car accident on the road, and the car was destroyed and I died. Unexpectedly, when I opened my eyes again, I was reborn and returned to the time before I married Ji. This time I want to cancel the engagement. I will never marry Ji again and will never step into this fire pit again. My thoughts came back, and I pulled my mother, who was still arguing, behind me. Aunt Ji, it's not that I don't want to get married, it's that Ji doesn't want to marry me. As soon as I finished speaking, the whole ward was quiet. Mrs. G's sharp eyes stopped on me. She sneered and pointed at Ji, who was lying on the hospital bed with the ventilator. When Ning, you should have a limit to your nonsense. I remained calm. If Aunt Ji doesn't believe me, you can go to the school to ask. As far as I know, Ji has a girlfriend, and he got into a car accident this time to save his girlfriend. Ji is willing to risk his life to save his sweetheart. Do you think he will want to marry me? What's more, the two parties have an engagement, but Ji has a girlfriend in private. This can also be considered cheating. Based on this, I am not breaking off the engagement. I am breaking off the engagement reasonably. Mrs. Ji clenched her fist tightly and did not answer me immediately. She couldn't believe that her son would do such a thing. Seeing Mrs. Ji's doubts about me, I directly suggested, if Aunt Ji doesn't believe me, we can go to the school and ask. After all, I don't have the ability to bribe an entire school of students to speak for me. After that, I took my mother and turned away. I was not worried that Mrs. Ji would refuse because she just needed a woman to marry Ji for good luck. It would be better to marry the woman her son loved deeply. What's more, if Ji really got into trouble to save Shenryu, she would not want Shenryu stay out of it. It was a coincidence that when we arrived at school, we happened to see a boy confessing his love to Shenryu. Seeing that people around were shouting, be together, I quickly squeezed into the crowd and interrupted them. Stop. Before being together, both parties have to be single. Everyone looked at me who suddenly appeared, a little confused. I took the opportunity to drag Mrs. Ji in front of Shenryu. Let me introduce you to. This is Mrs. Ji's mother. I pointed at Shenryu again. This is your daughter-in-law, your son's eternal love. Shenryu's face turned pale. I don't know what you are talking about. Ayan Jiyu is just a friend, and you are Jiyu's Fengqi. I raised my eyebrows and raised my voice. You and Jiyu are just friends. What kind of friends can hug each other, be affectionate, and often visit the hotel? After I pointed it out, one of Jiyu's classmates in the crowd spoke up. I just wanted to say it. Isn't Shenryu Jiyu's girlfriend? Other voices also sounded one after another. The news that they are together was posted on the confession wall. The combination of handsome men and beautiful women, many classmates were crazy about it at the time. Now that you mention it, I also remembered that I met them on a date. Because of their high looks, she looked at him twice more. Shenryu's face turned very ugly, but she still tried to explain. We were together, but breaking up is not okay. Is there any rule that couples can't break up? When Mrs. She confirmed what I said in the hospital. Her eyes darkened, and she knelt down in front of Shenryu. Auntie, please come to the hospital to see AYU. AYU loved you so much before the accident. Come and talk to him, in case you can wake up AYU's consciousness. Mrs. G's voice was full of grief. The way she kept begging for her son made the onlookers feel very sorry. Even if we broke up, you can go and have a look. After all, we have been together before. Now that GU is in trouble, how can you just stand by and watch? Yes, yes, pitiful parents in the world. Madame G has begged you so much, just go and have a look. You was oppressed by everyone's words and could not refuse. He had to help with the green face. I'll go. Is it not okay for me to go? Madame G's eyes were full of tears, and she held Shen Ruyu's hand tightly. Good girl, you are a good girl. Whether you can wake up or not, Auntie will be grateful to you in this life. After she said this, Shen Ruyu's original displeasure also dissipated, and she was willing to be pulled away by Madame G. As soon as the two of them left, the crowd of onlookers also dispersed. I stood there with a sneer, watching the backs of the two. Mrs. G worked hard with her husband to build the G family. After her husband passed away, she supported the G family alone. She was not a simple person. Since she knew the relationship between Shen Ruyu and Jiayu, she would not just take Shen Ruyu to the hospital. I am afraid that she would use some means to force Shen Ruyu to marry Jiyu to bring good luck and let the lovers finally get married. I want to see what will happen to Jiyu without my bondage. Since that day, Xiao has never returned to school. I heard that she was willing to stay in the hospital to take care of Ji. I knew that it was Mrs. Ji who took action. Sure enough, half a month later, Mrs. Ji sent me a thank you letter and a wedding invitation. I found an excuse not to attend. On the contrary, my father felt that he had lost the opportunity to repay his gratitude and often went to the hospital to check on Ji's situation. My mother was afraid that my father would be upset and asked me to repay the Ji family. Every day she urged me to find a partner and go on blind dates, which scared me to indulge in work to escape from blind dates. After getting busy, time passed quickly. During this period, I used the memory of my previous life to step into the entertainment industry and invested in several popular movies. Among them was a youth campus movie with small investment and high returns. The casting and audition location of this movie happened to be held in Tingshua University, which is GU's school. It was also here that the director took a fancy to Shen Ruyu, who was a school beauty, and promoted her as a newcomer to be the second female lead, which opened Shen Ruyu's entertainment career as a movie queen. With me in this matter, Shen Ruyu can't get the role of the second female lead. When I arrived, the audition was about to start. Before I entered the audition room, Shen Ruyu stopped me. Wen Ning, why did you come to Tingshua University for an audition? She was completely resentful of me because of the last incident. I crossed my arms and asked back, why not? The casting location is in Tingshua University. Not only Tingshua University students can audition. Tingshua University is a century-old school, and many campus dramas are filmed here. It's just that it's more convenient for students of this school to audition, but there has never been a restriction on the identity of the auditioners. Shen Ruyu nodded coldly. You are so sharp-tongued. Believe it or not, I can make a phone call to you and you won't even be qualified for an audition. Shen Ruyu's arrogance shocked me. The investor? As far as I know, she comes from a poor family and doesn't seem to have a background in the entertainment industry. Mrs. G is wholeheartedly thinking about her son and would never support Shen Ruyu in filming. Maybe Shen Ruyu did this without Mrs. G's knowledge. Miss Shen, what you mean is that the director team and the investors all listen to you? Shen Ruyu raised her chin proudly. It's good for you to know. If you call Mrs. G now and offer to marry Jiyu, then I can give you a chance. I marry Jiyu. This is probably bigamy. Miss Xianhao, talking in your sleep. Now you are the good daughter-in-law that Mrs. She loves. Shen Ruyu was choked by me and pointed at me viciously. Wen Ning, I will find someone to kick you out immediately. You wait for me. I pouted. Oh, I'm so scared. Shen Ruyu was furious. She immediately pulled out her mobile phone and sent a message. The other party replied quickly. After seeing the message, Xianhua became tough again. You wait, Director Wang will be here soon. If you regret it now, it's not too late to beg me. Director Wang, I was a little confused. Isn't the director of this movie Sonam Jang a new director who won numerous awards abroad at a young age? This is his first film after returning to China. It is also the beginning of his myth. His films have made thousands of stars famous. Even a passerby who appears for 3 minutes can become popular. People in the circle call him the maker. Although I have never met this director Jung when I invested, I have chatted with him a lot on WeChat. It doesn't make sense that a new director would be changed when the scene arrives. The only possibility is this director Wang, and the word deputy must be added in front. Thinking of this, the rumor that Shen Yu was favored by the director at first sight in her previous life is very unreliable. Soon, a middle-aged man with a big belly came out. After seeing him, Shen Yu hurriedly greeted him and whispered a few words in his ear. Director Wang listened and looked at me. I just stood there with my chest folded, letting him look. Newcomer, I nodded. There is nothing wrong. A newcomer in the investment industry is also a newcomer. Seeing that I was really a newcomer, Director Wang started to drive me away without any courtesy. Where did you come from, little girl? Go back quickly. This is not a place for you, playhouse. You can't take responsibility for any trouble you cause. Shen Yu said arrogantly, did you hear me? Get out of here. Who you want to get out of here? An angry male voice suddenly sounded. Of course. Before Shen Yu finished her words, Director Wang quickly covered her mouth. A figure walked out from the back with one hand in his pocket. His smooth chin slightly raised. His posture was leisurely, but he still had aura. It was Director Zhang Mingyi. Director Wang smiled flatteringly. Director Zhang, it's nothing serious. There's just a stalker fan sneaking in. I'll chase her away right now. After that, he scolded me. Hurry up and leave. I'll ask the security guard to chase you away if you don't leave. Shen Yu heard this and immediately realized that Zhang Mingyi was the one who really had the say in the crew. He quickly combed his hair and stepped forward to shake hands. Hello, Director Zhang. My name is Shen Yu, and I play the role of Guan's En King, the second female lead. Zhang Mingyi directly ignored the hand he stretched out and asked me, Miss Wen, what do you think? He asked what I thought of Shen Yu playing this role. The role of Guan's En King is a campus, white moonlight, and Shen Yu's image is very consistent, but it's hard to say about her acting skills. After all, she relied on the magic picture to get out of the circle in her previous life. In other dramas she filmed later, she was oft unscolded by netizens as a beautiful vase. After her agent found out, he forced her to take a year of acting classes, and then she became the queen of the screen. In the previous life, perhaps because the crew did not have enough funds, they could only use a large number of newcomers. Among these newcomers, Shen Yu really fits the image of the second female lead, not to mention that there is a backer, Director Wang. It's just that I am involved in this life. There is no worry about funds, so naturally I have to invite the best actress to perform. Thinking of this, I shook my head. She can't do it. Shen Yu stamped her feet and retorted unwillingly, how can you point fingers? I can't do it, can you? I have a gorgeous appearance which doesn't fit the role of the second female lead at all, so I definitely can't do it. I ignored her and told Zhang Mingyi directly. I invited Zhang Ling to audition. Zhang Ling is the recognized white moonlight in the entire entertainment industry. The image fits perfectly, and the old drama bones don't have to worry about acting problems. After hearing the name Zhang Ling, Shang Yu's face turned very ugly because she knew that as long as Zhang Ling came, she would not even have to audition, but she still struggled unwillingly. I am cheaper than Zhang Ling, and my appearance is also very suitable for this role. If Director Zhang chooses me, I am willing to not ask for any salary. Director Wang also reacted and hurriedly said in support, yes, Ryu's appearance is very suitable, and it can also save the crew a lot of money. We should give more opportunities to newcomers. Zhang Mingyi's eyes flashed with a hint of teasing. I would like to give it, but you have offended even the investor. How can you give him a chance? Shen Yu and Director Wang were a little confused. Zhang Ming, you didn't keep us in suspense. He turned sideways and bowed to me, making a gentleman's invitation is. Wen, please come in, the audition will start soon. I responded indifferently, walked past the two of them into the audition room. Behind me, I heard Zhang Mingyi's teasing voice. I said the wrong thing just now in our crew. This is the investor's mom. Then he left, the two distraught people, and entered the audition room. After that, Deputy Director Wang was also kicked out of the crew. After the whole audition was over, I realized how good Zhang Mingyi's vision was. The actors in his previous life were already the best choices. Of course, with the addition of Zhang Ming, the movie will be even better and reach a higher peak. After returning from Tsinghua University, I hired a private detective to follow Shen Ruyu and took a lot of photos of her hooking up with Deputy Director Wang. After all, although Deputy Director Wang left the crew, he still had movies to shoot. At least for Shen Ruyu, a pure newcomer, it was all about climbing up. I asked Mrs. G to come out and gave her the results of the investigation. After reading it, Mrs. G's face turned pale, and she got up and was about to go back to settle accounts with Shen Ruyu. I slowly stopped her. I have a good idea. It can make Shen Ruyu take care of G willingly, and it can also increase G's stock price. Mrs. G paused and looked at me warily. I knew she was suspicious of me, which was normal. After all, since I said that, I was no longer a junior to her. Facing her gaze, I remained calm. Mrs. G, why don't you sit down and listen and then decide whether to believe me? G thought for a few seconds and sat down again. I didn't keep her in suspense. Live streaming is very popular recently. Some people even broadcast, reporting popularity, and can make millions in one night. Shen Ruyu's image is very suitable to be a host. I have thought of the gimmick for the live broadcast boyfriend became a vegetable in a car accident, and he never left and took care of him attentively. What a love that lasts until death. Netizens will definitely love to watch it. Mrs. What does this have to do with the G family? The G family is in the food industry, but the products have not been new enough in recent years and have begun to decline. The customer flow of the store has dropped significantly. If they use their son to sell in the live broadcast room and bring goods, I paused deliberately, looking at the interesting Mrs. G's eyes, and then continued, netizens are most fond of true love and bitterness. As long as Shen Ryu is made into a pure love school beauty persona, and then the G family products are promoted, sales and reputation can be a win-win situation. G's eyebrows suddenly relaxed. She obviously heard it, but Shen Ryu is now focused on filming. How could she be willing to be trapped in the hospital live broadcast? I raised my lips. Doesn't she want to be famous? We will give her traffic. But all the income from the live broadcast will belong to the G family, and you will arrange her schedule. For example, she must stay in the ward for 8 hours every day and be affectionate to the vegetative patient. Mrs. G tapped the table lightly with her fingertips and suddenly smiled. Wen Ning, you are much smarter than I thought. If you had been. She didn't finish her words, but just waved her hand. Tell me, what do you want for doing me this favor? Aunt G, sell me 2 of the shares. I said in a relaxed tone, just think of it as investing in your script of a better mother-in-law. G was stunned and then laughed out loud. You are so straightforward. Okay, it's just 2 of the shares, but if the G's stock price rises in the future, that's Aunt G's ability. I only make what I should make. I interrupted her, knowing that this woman would never really be grateful. It was just an exchange of interest. A week later, Shen Ruyu's Love Guarding Live room started broadcasting. In the camera, she sat beside Ji's bed in a white dress, her fingertips gently stroking his pale face, her voice choked with sobs. You said you would take me to see the sea when you woke up. The barrage was instantly filled with crying to death, and fairy love, and G's old peach cakes old 100,000 orders that night. Mrs. G struck while the iron was hot and personally went to the live broadcast room, wiping her ears while showing G's new you same walnut powder. You loved to drink this before you fell into a coma, and now I have to feed him to spoons every day. The stock price climbed at a visible speed. I seized the opportunity and sold all the G shares in my hands and invested in Zhang Mingyi's new science fiction film instead. 3 months later, Shenru Yu's live broadcast room suddenly turned over Some netizens dug out the ambiguous voice she sent privately to the top brother on the list, and the pure of school beauty persona collapsed overnight. I looked at the hot search Shenhu's private photos leaked, pushed by the marketing account, and my fingertips slid across the mobile phone screen. The photo of her wearing revealing clothes. This was what I asked the private detective to deliberately leak to the paparazzi. Mrs. G cried bitterly in the live broadcast room. I knew this girl was unreliable. AU is still lying in the hospital bed. Netizens' anger instantly turned to Shenryu. Her social account was blocked, but the G family gained fans again because of the victim image, and the sales of the new jelly broke records. I received a call from Mrs. G at the celebration banquet. Her voice was tired when Ming, AU moved his fingers today, and the doctor said there were signs of awakening. Congratulations. I shook the wing glass and looked at Zhang Mingyi, who was chatting and laughing with the actors in the distance. But Aunt G, I told you about the engagement a long time ago. I know. She interrupted me. Thank you sincerely this time. If it weren't for you, the G family would have collapsed long ago. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Mingyi sat next to me at some point, tapping the financial statements in front of me with his fingertips. Miss, when the new film budget is overspent by 20, you look super, then so be it. I glanced at him. Anyway, the special appearance you promised me hasn't happened yet. He suddenly leaned in, his eyes reflecting the light of the crystal chandelier. When Ming, actually, I have a question. Stop. I pushed his face away. Let's make that flying mechanical deer in science fiction movies first. He wailed. That thing is harder than chasing a girlfriend. I smiled without saying anything and looked down at the surveillance screenshot of Gio's ward on my phone. He was frowning, listening to Mrs. Oh, G reading the fan fiction written by netizens to him and Shenryu. Some debts must be repaid by oneself. And my life has long turned a corner, leading to a new fork in the road filled with sunshine.